So how often do you train with your firearm, and are you training the correct way, and do you train for muscle memory? Hey, this is Joe with Talking Guns with Joe, and tonight I am joined with Miss Lindsey Guns.
Hello, everybody.
And she's laughing at me already. Lindsey, I had the pleasure of co-teaching some classes with you this week.
I had a lot of fun.
That was enjoyable. I don't think we've done that in
Very long time.
very long time. And it's enjoyable. It's a different way for me to see how other people teach their classes, and I'm sure the same for you. Sometimes I just don't stop talking. We'll just leave it at that.
Sometimes it is difficult to get a word in edgewise. Yeah.
Well, it's what happens. Well, it was an enjoyable class, and actually brought up a lot of different questions that I had and stuff that I think we should talk about, and maybe let people know how they should be training the right way.
There were a lot of training questions. There really were.
There were.
And you know, I feel like when you've been doing it for so long, you forget what the basic questions are and the things that you wonder about when you're new to it because you've been doing it for so long.
That we take certain things for granted. I mean, we have our standard stuff we know we go over. I mean, you can sleep and recite the whole class,
Right.
pretty much.
Right.
But there are things you got to tell people in training that a lot of times if you get off subject, you forget, but it's in our little training
Manual.
curriculum
Yes.
that we go over here. But actually, it was a cool class. First, it was a women's group, local here in the Lakewood Ranch area.
Very large women's group. Yeah.
Very large.
20 women.
Yeah. And they got more coming. They got another 20 coming.
That was a fun night.
It was fun. We were here late.
I told them it felt like a girls' night out, and there should have been wine, but you know, then again, there was firearms involved, so we skipped out on the wine.
But guys, listen to me. I was the only male in the building.
True story.
I still got my car loan. Well, that brought up a lot of questions. We had another private group the following night. Another great group that was a lot of fun. But let's first talk about, this is why I'm bringing it up, because all the questions we've been getting lately about all the, I don't want to say mishaps, all the
Negligence,
negligence, we'll say,
yeah,
with people with firearms lately. I know we talked before about the dancing FBI agent.
right. Well, and we're
Folks,
talking
if you
about
haven't seen the video, go to our Facebook page, Talking Guns with Joe, on Facebook, or our website, talkinggunswithjoe.com, and you can see these videos. Basically, the FBI agent was, would you call that dancing?
I would call it break dancing.
Yeah, he was doing a backflip, and long story short, his gun came out, landed on the floor. He goes to pick up his gun. The gun did not go bang because it hit the floor.
Right.
The gun went bang because he went to pick it up with his finger on the trigger. What's the second safety rule, Lindsey?
Keep that finger off of the trigger until you are ready to shoot.
Bingo. And he failed. And
He
you know what
did.
that comes down to? Muscle memory.
Right. And I guess that's my thing about, you know, all of these negligent things that we've been hearing in the news lately is that they are from people who should have been trained. And I guess that's what gets me. And when I say gets me, I guess not surprises me so much as disappoints me.
Well, it goes back to what you said earlier. We do the classes so much, you overlook some things sometimes.
Right.
I think a lot of times when you have people that are carrying a gun all the time, they do their qualifications, you know, every year, twice a year, however they have it set up at their agency. I'm talking law enforcement officers. They take things for granted.
Right.
And, you know, they're handling that gun every day. They're handling it a lot more than anybody else out there. And, yes, just statistically speaking, they're more likely to have some kind of negligent discharge.
Right. And I guess that's part of what comes down to it. And if anybody comes to take my class, they'll hear me say it. Look, I want to train you. I want you to get comfortable around guns. I want you to get confident in your ability to use the gun. I never want you to cross that line over into being sloppy.
Bingo. But one of the big things we were talking about was the proper way to pick up a gun.
Right.
The first part of your body that touches the gun is your trigger finger.
Right.
It's no longer your index finger. It's going to be your trigger finger. The first part of your body that touches the gun is that trigger finger right up on the frame.
Right.
And I tell people constantly, pick it up 1,000 times if you have to with an unloaded gun, of course, and pick it up and just practice. Get it to the point where you can do it with your eyes closed.
And then when you're good at that?
Flip the gun over, do it with your other hand.
Exactly.
Apparently, this FBI guy did not do that. So I think his punishment should be doing it for like 10,000 times per hand.
That's gonna. Your hand's gonna cramp up at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he has other issues too. Apparently, rumor had it he got fired from the job. Now he's on the job. He's on the desk job. He got his gun back. He's able to carry, but he's just at a desk job.
Well, I
And
mean,
a lot of them are anyway. But his charges, I think, were dropped to a misdemeanor, and I might not be 100% factual, and I'm not wasting time looking it up. But it all comes down to, I'll say it, stupidity. If he would have picked up the gun the right way, that person would not have got shot at that breakdance club or whatever you want to call
well, and
it.
what I keep saying is that he's lucky it was only a leg.
Oh, bingo.
How much worse could that have been?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And as far as him being on a desk job, you know what? Sometimes we bring things upon ourselves.
To me, if I was, if I was still on the job and I was the chief on my department, that person would be looking for a new job.
Right.
We don't need people like that that cannot handle their firearms correctly.
Justifiably so. He would have been looking
Yes.
for a new job.
That's just me, though. I can be wrong. But he's not alone out there in this area.
Did you just say you can be wrong?
No, I did not say that.
I'm marking
Nobody
it down.
recorded this.
I'm marking it down. Oh, I'm pretty sure it
They
is
did.
recorded.
They did. Yes, I can be wrong every once in a while. People think I'm wrong. In my opinion, I'm never wrong.
We know.
I know. I am one of my favorite T-shirts tonight. This one.
That is a good shirt.
It basically says "Hate cops." Got a question mark on it. Well, next time you need help, call a crackhead.
Yeah, that was a gift from a friend. That's a good shirt.
But basically, in close to where this happened in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, a police officer whose gun accidentally fired at a youth baseball tournament last month is scheduled to appear in court Tuesday and face multiple criminal charges.
I think, again, negligently fired would be a better word
Yes.
to use in that sentence, frankly.
It was not accidental.
No, because-
I'm not going to bore you by reading this whole thing. Basically, this officer was off duty. He was dressed in civilian clothes. He was carrying his firearm concealed. He was carrying it in the waistband, using one of those Techniclip. I don't even know, a Techniclip on his Glock.
Right.
To let you know what a Techniclip is, this is how my technical description of this. It's a paper clip that goes on your Glock, or a couple other different handguns they make it for.
Which basically just allows you to hang it off of your waistband.
Yes,
I mean,
pretty much. It just clips inside your waistband. It clips to your pants.
So what's protecting the trigger?
It looks like a normal writing pen.
Right.
And have a little clip on it stick in your pocket.
Right.
Or your pocket protector back in the day. It's the same exact philosophy for your firearm. I think these are the most irresponsible items out there.
I mean, I've not seen one, honestly. Is there any trigger protection?
Nothing at all.
That's insanity.
I think we have a couple back here somewhere that got ordered by mistake. Yes, it is insanity. My feeling is, and again, this is our opinion, and I think this would be most professionals out there's opinion. If you're going to have your gun on you, it's in a proper holster that is properly made for your firearm.
That covers the trigger guard and the trigger? Isn't that
covers the
kind of what a
trigger.
holster is supposed to
It
do?
should.
He's an officer. He should know better.
And apparently the department said the same thing because they're not authorized to carry those holsters, or lack thereof holster.
Right, if you can call it
But
that.
basically what happens, folks, is he's sitting there at this ball game right before he goes to sit down on the bleachers. He goes to pull up his pants a little bit to adjust them. He had to pull them really hard because when he pulled his pants, he pressed the trigger, he fired the round off. Thankfully, nobody got hurt because the only thing that happened at that point in time is the round went right through his pants. He tore his pants up pretty good, and it went through the bleachers, put a nice hole. I mean, that is pure luck right there. The local police department out there did charge him, and he's got disorderly conduct. He's got a couple different criminal charges out there he has to deal with. And yes, they gave him a breathalyzer because they have to.
Okay.
And he did have alcohol in his breath, but he was not intoxicated. So it's just, and we say that in the class all the time too. Alcohol and guns don't mix.
No, they don't.
I tell people if you're going to go out, you're going to have a few drinks, leave your gun at home, have a designated driver, and definitely have a designated shooter. That's a little bit of a
just
Joe
no
humor.
words for
No.
speechless.
But this is what gives the rest of us people a bad name.
Right.
So this is another one. Make an example of it. Have the department do what they have to do.
Well, because-
this was not accidental. This was negligence. He knew that that stupid little clip that he had on his gun was not proper. He probably was not allowed to carry it. It did not cover the trigger. It was irresponsible for him to have it. And for a person that makes that many poor decisions in his personal life, I don't think he should be on the job making any other poor decisions.
Right. Well, I mean, and the thing is can I say the lay person, someone who's not into the gun culture, okay? These are your police officers. For people that don't know better, they look to them for being the professionals, the responsible ones. And if they can't trust the responsible police officers to be responsible with their firearms, how are they going to trust you and I as just civilians? And so this is, I feel like, a lot of where the anti-gun sentiment comes out.
Yes. Let's face it, 99.9% of the police officers out there are great.
I agree with you. And they do a job that not many people choose to do, and
but
I thank them for it.
That 0.01% that are screwing things up for the rest of them. Let's make an example out of them.
And the whole gets blamed for the 0.01%.
Punish him too. Make him wear, practice taking his gun out of in the waistband, correct in the waistband holster like 10,000 times.
Right.
Remember I used to write on the chalkboard when you were a kid when you messed up in school?
And you had to write the same sentence over and over.
Over and over again.
What was the sentence you had to write?
We can't say that. This is a good family channel here.
I will not.
And listen, I am just going right now because these are the questions that we got a ton of this week about this stuff. I am just going through our Facebook feed for the past week. So if you want to join us along during the show, you got your computer with your phone, just go to Talking Guns with Joe on Facebook, and you'll see what we're talking about. And next, we're going to be talking about this guy here in Siesta Key. I think it's still the #1 beach in the country.
Oh, Florida.
Right here. Yeah, I hate when that happens. You see something crazy Florida. On the news, you're like, oh, please don't be Florida again. Right. Please don't be Florida. And here on Siesta Key, there we go.
Yep.
But this guy is off his rocker. Something needs to be done. No, we're going to finish this conversation when we return. We'll be back in a minute. We're going to talk about this knucklehead out here in Sarasota. And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. I am Joe, and I am joined here by the lovely Miss Lindsey Guns. Say hey, Lindsey.
Hey, Lindsey.
How can you say that every time? You got to come up with a different one for me. So listen, we were just talking about a couple of these knuckleheads out there in Colorado, but now we have one of our own knuckleheads right here, nice and close. But he's not a law enforcement officer. And again, we're very pro-cop. We're not trying to bash cops at all.
Goodness, no.
We just, the ones that are really making mistakes that maybe should not have guns, yeah, that's the ones we're bashing. This what comes down to.
Well, and frankly, I would do that if it was a civilian making the same mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Frankly.
Like this guy right here, they should pull his gun card away. His man card should be thrown out the window. Did you see this one at all?
I don't think so.
So basically, we have let me just make sure I'm getting this correct. We have a 69-year-old man is facing multiple charges after firing his 9mm handgun multiple times out of his home.
What was he shooting at?
He was having hallucinations.
Oh, dear God. Okay.
Yes.
That's scary.
It is. And somebody actually texted the police. They texted 911. And told them, I guess they didn't want the person to know where they were at because this guy's shooting in his house, but apparently the rounds went through his window, exited the house, and were like going down the street.
Was anyone hurt?
Nobody was hurt that I know of. Again, I'm just looking at the initial article that was written, and we posted it.
You can text 911?
I need to look into that.
I'm kind of fascinated by that.
Exactly. Hey, right, I need help right now. Somebody's trying to kill me. He's got a knife on me right now. I'm not taking the time to text.
I was going to say, if someone's trying to kill me, I don't think I'm taking the time to text. Yeah.
But I'm also at the age, and I wear glasses, where it takes me like 10 minutes to say hi, texting.
You're of a certain age where it's better to work smarter, not harder.
Then, yes. Then you got all the people that actually do the voice to text.
I mean, I do that sometimes. I won't say when because of a new law that was just passed. But
at that point in time, why don't you just call the person?
Yeah, I guess that would be easier.
I mean, I'm texting because I don't want to talk. But anyway, this guy was, they changed that law where the cops can actually pretty much take your guns away if they think you're crazy.
Right.
This is where that law would come into effect, and I think it works perfect.
Right. It can be useful in the right situation.
Yes. This guy's having hallucinations. He does have firearms, and he's just starting to fire his gun off in his house for no apparent reason at the time this was reported. Yeah, take his stuff away. I know he's in jail now, so he's not going to have access to his guns. But apparently he had another incident not too long ago, too, driving his car doing the same thing. Not shooting his gun, but having the hallucinations and all that.
Okay.
That gets into a lot of questions people are asking before about this law and everything, where should they be checking to make sure these people have mental conditions with their guns?
I see situations where it can be useful, but I also see situations in which it could be abused.
We had one person that made a comment, said, I don't think they were really trying to blame the gun shop, but their comment was something along the lines of, and I think it was just taken out of context of, that's a gun shop not doing their job selling the gun. How's the gun shop supposed to know if the person's really crazy?
Right. Okay, so the employees of the gun shop, they now have the education to be able to make a professional decision about whether or not someone is mentally sane.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be allowed in my shop at that point.
Well, because your sanity might be questioned sometimes.
No. I mean, we did have one come in this week that everybody, when that person walked through the door, it's like everybody's hair on the back of their neck stood up.
Right.
And we're like, no, we have nothing here to help you with that. Sorry, have a nice day. And that person left. And as they left, they were hitting themselves in the head in the parking lot.
That's okay. That's wow.
So I don't think any gun shop out there, none of my friends that have other gun shops, I think would have sold that person anything.
Right.
So
I mean, but with this guy we're talking about here.
Hey, we don't know. We can't blame anybody. First, never blame anything until all the facts come out.
Right.
Never make even your opinion. You can guess what's going on, but you have your opinion here. Nobody knows where this guy got the gun, how long he's had the gun.
Right. I mean, that's what
I mean, he could have got the gun when he was 21. He's 69 now.
Right, and he may have developed mental conditions since then. If he had purchased it recently, I mean, frankly, he fills out his form. He answers the questions. He passes the background check. The gun shop has done their due diligence. That's what they're required to do.
Now, I think I understand what this person said. I know the young lady that put that in there, and I think it was just taken out of context with all the negative comments afterwards. I think it was just some gun shops will sell anything to anybody, just about.
Some will, yes.
I mean, I think and I'll brag, I'll toot my own horn, we're one of the ones that won't sell them that way. I mean, I've denied sales to people that I just didn't think knew how to handle a gun at all and shouldn't have one. And I'm like, no, I'm not selling you one until you at least take a class.
Right, because you have to be able to go home and sleep at night.
Bingo.
You can't do that with a good conscience if
Wake up in the morning, look myself in the mirror, which scares you know what out of me every morning anyway, but
and you don't want to see that person in the news that you just sold a gun to having done something wrong with it.
Correct. And it just blows my mind with that. But let's wait till all the facts come out.
Right.
But this guy, I mean, he's in trouble. The cops did their job. They locked him up. He's not going to hurt anybody right now.
Right.
And they'll probably lose his right to have the firearms. At least the way the new law states, until they can actually do a complete evaluation of the person. They can take him. I forget the length of time they can take it for, but.
And if he's having hallucinations, that would be.
They need
an interesting eval.
Yes. That's crazy. But go back to the training part of the things too. I mean, these are just people who make all of us lawful gun owners.
Lawful and responsible. Right. Exactly.
Gun owners. They make us look bad. So people, please, when you're out there, train the right way. If you're carrying a gun for personal protection, you're carrying a concealed firearm on your person, practice and do it the responsible way.
It's a very big responsibility to be carrying a firearm on your person when you are out there in the public world.
I mean, think about it. Driving. I know driving is a privilege. It's not the right, but driving, to get your driver's license, you have to get your learner's permit first. You have to take a test. Then you get your learner's permit. Then you have to drive for, 6 months or something like that, with a responsible licensed driver.
6 months to a year, I think, depending on age. Right.
They're going to drive around. I know my son's doing that right now, and it's nerve-wracking when I'm in the passenger seat.
Welcome to
parenting. But yeah, they got to do all this stuff. Then they have to go take a road test before they can get their driver's license.
Right. Well, because they're driving around a couple 1,000-pound killing machine.
Yes.
I mean.
But they're doing the responsible thing.
Absolutely.
Unless most of us adults out there that drive anybody with a driver's license, we practice caution and do everything. We're looking twice before we pull out in traffic and all that. Accidents do happen.
We're using the blinkers.
Yes. No, they don't use blinkers down here at all. I think everybody's out of blinker fluid for some reason.
So
I think
the blinkers,
the heat evaporates it.
The blinkers on your car are for when you're turning in your car, not for when the rain is
That's
falling
their
from the
hazards.
sky. Right. Right.
No, it starts raining, throw the hazards on. That is illegal, folks. You can't do it. But anyway, but you practice all that for driving.
Right.
You practice doing so many other things.
So shouldn't the same be done for firearms?
Yes, it should be and it doesn't, shouldn't be a law that you have to do it. We should just be responsible enough to know that we have to do it.
Right.
So let's make us look responsible, and everybody should make sure you're doing this the right way. It's simple.
I mean, carrying concealed isn't a cool thing. I mean, you don't do it to be cool or be hip, but
No, because nobody knows we have it.
It's a responsibility thing.
That's why it's concealed.
Right.
You know, we don't even talk about the open carry. We just did the spot on that last week. There's another crazy incident that happened up here in Clearwater.
Oh, Florida.
Yes, this is another one.
I actually listened to a radio show and they talk about crazy things happening in the news, and they say, is this Florida or not Florida? This is actually a little.
We could probably start doing this here.
Yeah, right.
This one, the only thing that was bad for Florida, we've done pretty well. Our guy from Siesta Key, of course, Florida. The first two were Colorado.
Yes.
Yes, we're
I
doing
mean,
good here.
not yes, it happened in Colorado, but yes, at least it's not here.
Now, this next one was in Clearwater, but it's really not, we don't know what's happening at the time. Again, I'm looking at the initial. I'm not going to come up with any real opinion. I just want people to think about this thing. It falls under the laws for carrying a concealed firearm here and defending yourself in the lovely state of Florida. And I'm trying to look at my screen. My screen just went all different weird directions. It's probably going to change again now. You can shake the screen. Oh, there, shaking the screen works, folks.
I should work in IT.
If your laptop's not working right, just shake it. That's your new job in IT. But anyway, you got to know your laws in the state. If you're carrying a concealed firearm, you need to know your laws. It's the same thing I go over with the DD-214s.
Right.
The state will issue a concealed weapons license if you have a DD-214. You were honorably discharged from the military. One of the injustices they do with that is, I think if they're going to do anything, give the license to them for free.
Okay.
So if you have a DD-214, your concealed weapons license should be free then. You served your country. It's a simple thing the state can give you.
Right.
What's it cost them? $40-some for 7 years, and it's not costing them any money. All they're printing out is a little plastic ID that costs like $1, if that.
If that, right. It's a piece of plastic.
So, and I've argued that with certain political leaders in this area, and they just want the money, I think. I said, give them the license for free.
Right.
And we used to offer a class for them for free, too, going over the laws. And that's one of the reasons why I think they should give them the license for free, but make them take a class just on the laws. Because people, you need to know the laws if you're going to be carrying a concealed firearm. Don't think just because you saw something online or on YouTube or you bought some book at a gun show or something like that that's going to teach you about the laws. That's really how it works. These books, I think, are written so you have to hire an attorney.
To interpret.
Take a class at a professional place so you learn the laws and you learn the what-ifs.
Right.
You can't ask the book a question.
No.
When you go on YouTube and you ask somebody a question, you really don't know who's answering it and what makes them that professional. So I think people really need to look into that stuff. And this was the argument at the shop the other day. Again, I just know the initial report of it, but I want you folks to think about it and jump on our page and let us know what you think about it. When we return, we're going to start talking about this. And they call it, again, the stand your ground with the big question mark. To me, it should be the justifiable use of force with the big question mark.
Right.
Because that's where it falls under. And it was over a handicapped parking space.
Park somewhere else.
Yes, that annoys me too when people parking handicapped and they're not handicapped.
Right.
But is it worth somebody losing their life?
Is that even a question?
Yeah, well, we're going to tell you the story and let you decide. We'll be right back. Thanks for sticking with us. Again, I am Joe. I'm here with Miss Lindsey Guns. And now we're going to start talking about different laws, what they call the stand your ground law, which everybody's tired of hearing about, I know, but it's justifiable use of force. And we're going to talk about a deadly incident that happened this past week up here in Clearwater, Florida. And nobody wants to see anybody die.
Absolutely not.
Human nature. But it was a big argument in the shop and about this situation. And again, I always tell people we don't know the facts. We don't know everything. You know, we know what the media told us, and we know how that works. They tell us what they want us to hear. And the law enforcement agency is going to be doing their report and their investigation. So we're not going to find out what really happens until the very end. But, Lindsay, if you just want to run down the brief what happened there.
I mean, it says, so they've got witnesses. They're talking to witnesses. It says a video. The video shows.
Oh, wait, hold on. They don't know what happened yet. So basically, a young lady, and I think she was in her mid-20s or early 20s, pulls up at the convenience store with her boyfriend and their 5-year-old son.
Right.
The young lady parks in a handicap spot at the convenience store, jumps out of the car, goes in the store. Her boyfriend follows after her with the 5-year-old son. I guess the young lady, they bought their stuff. She walked back out to the car, which I thought was different because usually if you walk into the store with your significant other, you buy your items, then you walk out together and go to the car.
Typically, yeah.
Typically, but we don't know this. She may have bought a pack of cigarettes, went outside to smoke one. She wasn't smoking in the car with the kid. We don't know. We don't know yet. So anyway, apparently then another customer walked in the store and went inside and proceeded to tell the employee at the store, the clerk, that, hey, there's a heated argument going on out in the parking lot. Some guy's going off on some lady in the parking lot. Well, the boyfriend happened to be standing there in line. He pokes his head out the door and sees this guy, which looked in the video, and we don't know for sure, very close to his girlfriend, face to face in a heated confrontation. So this guy comes, not running out of the store, but he came out of the store at a pretty good pace, walked up to this gentleman, and what's the guy's name? I forget.
Which one?
It was a 47-year-old man, Michael.
Drejka? I can't.
Close enough. If we butchered your name, Michael, sorry. He approaches the 47-year-old male that's arguing with his girlfriend and just pushes him to the ground. I mean, it was a good push, and the guy went right down to the ground. Then the boyfriend then he backed off while the guy was on the ground.
Okay.
And looked like he was starting to walk away. So basically turned his back. And again, this is the only thing we can see in the video. Turn his back and walk away from the guy, the 47-year-old male laying on the ground.
Laying on the ground, right.
Well, the 47-year-old male laying on the ground took out a firearm and proceeded to shoot the boyfriend and kill him.
Yeah, striking him in the chest, it says.
Yeah. He had to be a strong guy because I think he walked into the store, too. And he's deceased, and he did it in front of his 5-year-old son.
That's unreal.
And girlfriend. Now, there's a lot of questions about this, and there's no answers yet. But when you initially look at this, I mean, you can probably argue both ways. I mean, first, I don't know. Apparently this guy, when you talk to witnesses, the guy that did the shooting, we'll just call him, what's his name?
Michael.
He's just Michael now. Apparently likes to hang outside this convenience store and yell at people for parking in the handicap spot.
Right.
My question is he handicapped? Did he need that spot? Is that why he was arguing? And if he was handicapped, what was his handicap? So maybe when this boyfriend came over there, he was really in fear for his life. Because what the law states, you got to be in an imminent threat of serious bodily injury or death, or to prevent the commission of a forcible felony.
Right.
Would I be scared for my life in this situation if somebody pushed me down, then started walking away?
I'm not scared in that situation because the threat is walking away.
Yeah. Now, your situation might be a little different. I am, I'm going to admit this, well over twice your weight. I'm a big guy, if you can't see, because you can't see me on the radio, but if you go on one of our pages, you can see it. But let's face it, I'm 300 pounds. I'm going to be pushing you down at 130 pounds onto the ground. Could you be in fear for your life at that point in time?
As you're pushing me down, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's the point at which it would be a stand your ground issue. That's the point at which you are defending yourself and protecting your life.
Yes.
When you start to walk away, however much, how bigger you are than me or not, you have pushed me down to the ground. I am now down on the ground. You are walking away. The threat is gone. The threat is over.
Yes. And that's the way it looks in the video. So if I was just to watch that little clip of the video that they showed, yeah, I'm questioning that shoot big time. But we don't know what was said. They don't show the actual shooting in the video that I saw.
You can't shoot people over words.
No,
I mean, you
maybe
say
the
we
guy
don't know
was-
what was
Maybe the guy was
said.
grabbing the gun. We didn't see the last couple seconds. So maybe they shot. Maybe the boyfriend was grabbing the gun. We don't know. I'm not defending him. I'm not
Right.
accusing him of anything.
Investigation ongoing. I mean,
I just want our listeners to know you have to be in fear of the imminent threat of serious bodily injury or death,
right.
or the preventive commission of a forcible felony. And folks, you should have learned this in your concealed weapons class if you took one. And they should have spent a lot of time going over this. But that's what has to happen. You have to feel that way. Now, maybe this man had a bad heart, bad something else. There's a 20-year difference there in age. So that would like be me fighting a much smaller 65-year-old man.
In my mind, the only way this would be justified is if he had said some sort of a threat, like, I'm going to my car to get my gun. Or says, where was he walking to?
Even if he said that, in my opinion.
I mean, honestly, I don't get how this would be justified.
I'm still of the mindset, yes, I carry a concealed firearm every single day, as I encourage everybody out there to do. You know,
Everybody who lawfully can do it.
everybody can lawfully do it and is properly trained and practices and thinks that they should.
Right.
You know, there are certain people out there that don't feel that they should be carrying a gun, and I don't
maybe
fault
they're
them
right.
for that. Maybe they're right for that. Yeah, I don't know what to go on this case, which way to go. I just think people need to know it's the imminent threat. It's got to be happening right then and there. Even if the person says he's going to get a gun out of his car, that's not a valid threat in my eyes. Because are you in your car?
Right. I mean, we even talk about in class, if someone's in your home, okay, if someone's in your home, they're currently in your house, you don't know
Somebody
them.
I know and like?
No.
Okay.
Someone who should not be there, someone we don't know.
Okay.
Okay, then it's justifiable. You don't like someone in your house. And as hard as it would be, when they start to walk out of your house and they are now outside of your house and they are walking away,
Lock your door.
Threat is gone. You cannot then pursue them and gun them down.
No. I mean, honestly, I bring this up in my class as well. And, we live up on the second floor. If I was to come down my steps from the bedroom and there was people breaking into the house, whatever it is, they're coming in through the front door, they see this big gorilla coming down the steps with a firearm and they take off out the door. As soon as I get down to the bottom, I'm shutting the door, I'm locking it. I'm going to be making sure that I'm contacting 911, but I'm also now searching the rest of the house for anybody else that might be in there.
Right, because maybe one of them actually did get in.
Yes.
Right.
I'm not going to chase people down the street. They're gone. I am going to dial 911. I am going to let them know the best description I can possibly get, or I had, and let them know the last flight of direction. Hey, they're heading, south on ABC Street, whatever it's going to be. You got, 3 males, blah, 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 wearing this.
Right.
And that's just so they don't go to my neighbor's house and do it.
Right. And so I guess that's the part where, and I understand it's hard because then you're thinking, okay, I let them go. What if they come back? And I get that.
I understand
But the law is you have to let them go.
Yeah.
And
You
how
can't protect
violating
property.
it would feel that they had just been in your house. I get that too. But the law is.
I don't want to go through all the, I guess it's an emotional roller coaster, but I just don't want to go through all the nonsense that goes along with it if you got involved in the shooting.
Right.
So I still come from a different mindset too. I'd rather, even though I carry every day, I'd rather say game on, let's fight this out like men.
I'm not doing that, but yes, you
it's more
could.
enjoyable.
You could.
It's more personal, I think. But folks, you got to know this stuff. I mean, I think this guy, I think from what the witnesses said, and if I just took from what the witnesses said and just a little bit of video clip I saw, the shooter was off his rocker.
I mean, again, potentially talking about another mentally unstable person. We don't know that. But if he is hanging outside a convenience store, yelling at people, and this was a thing that he did, maybe he's not so stable.
One of the other witnesses I saw said that apparently he parked in a handicapped spot too, and apparently none of these people are handicapped.
That's so wrong.
Yes.
There are people that actually need those spots. Save those spots for those people that actually need them.
Yes. Even though all the other parking spots look a little empty in the video. But apparently this witness that saw this happen said recently before this incident that the shooter approached him for parking in that parking spot and threatened to shoot him and kill him for parking in that spot.
Right. There was someone else that had said that. Yeah.
So my question is too: is this true, or was he handicapped? Was this something personal to him, or is he just off his rocker?
I guess we don't know the answer to that yet.
We'll find out eventually. Again, I'm not making any decisions on this. Just I want people to know the imminent threat. It means it's got to be happening right then and there, folks.
Right.
If somebody says they're going to go to a car and get a gun or a baseball bat or something like that,
Imminent threat is walking away.
that's walking away. It's not a threat anymore. Now, if they go to the car, get a baseball bat or something and start coming towards you,
And they actually do come back. Right.
game on. So I'll leave it at that with that one. I mean, it's that with that one. That's a lot of that. But this is the crazy stuff that's going on this week.
It's been a busy week.
Well, the Colorado incident, that was really happened previously, but it just came out, and they have all these things on the news about it now because he's going to court for it. He might be looking for a new job. We are not hiring here. I'll just leave it at that. But the siesta key thing, and it all comes down to training
It does. Comes down to training and knowing what you can and cannot do.
and being a responsible gun owner. Let's keep the limelight off of us
Yes.
because it's not looking good for us right now.
Won't anybody out there make us look good, please?
We'll finish this up when we return in just a second. And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. Again, I am joined tonight by Miss Lindsey Guns, and of course, I'm Joe. Listen, if you miss any part of the show, you can always catch it on our YouTube page, our Facebook page. I think it's on the Twitter page, and our website, and it's all Talking Guns with Joe.
All of the social media bases are covered.
Yes, I am a social media master. Not really. I don't get to Twitter at all.
I don't get the Twitter either.
No, they restrict how much you can say, and people put all the words together.
Only so many characters, and then you have to start a new Twitter.
A new tweet.
A new tweet. That's right.
I think what was the little yellow bird? Tweety bird?
Yes.
Was that it? That's all I think about with that.
You mean like in the Snoopy cartoons?
No, wasn't that with the Sylvester the cat or?
Oh, yeah. Tweety Bird.
Yeah.
With Sylvester.
Yes. Going down memory lane here from when I was a kid.
And apparently our memories are not so great.
Definitely not so great anymore. Again, we had a lot of really cool classes this week, and that's how we got started, and that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. Is making sure people get the right training, and we got a lot of unique questions.
A lot of
This week.
questions, yeah.
And one that kept coming up over and over. Well, it came up in the two separate classes, but people asked at different points, and people are asking. So listen, if they have a concealed weapons license, they legally own, possess, and everything of their firearm, are they allowed to carry when they're at work?
So that's kind of up to your employer.
Pretty much. If you're working in their place, it's their house, their rules.
Right. So what that employer can say to you is, if you wish to maintain employment, you will not carry while you're working for me.
Yes. However, they cannot tell you you can't bring it from point A to point B. And what I mean by that, they can't tell you can't have it in your car or on your person from driving from wherever, basically your house, to work.
Right.
As long as you leave that firearm in your car.
In your car. Right.
There is actually a statute on that. And I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit, but it's no private or public employer may prohibit any customer, invitee, or employee from possessing a firearm when such firearm is lawfully possessed and locked to or in a private motor vehicle.
That's a lot of very wordy.
Yes. Basically what it's saying is you can leave the gun in your car in the parking lot and they can't say anything about it.
Right. And because when in your car, when you inhabit it, is your castle just as your home. So they can no more tell you what you can have in your car than what they can tell you can have in your house.
And bingo. And if they're going to go that route and try to enforce that and threaten you with that, first, the state won't allow that. If anybody ever lost their job because of this, got fired, threatened to be fired, anything, the state will actually go after that company. They violated the law.
Right, they're breaking the law.
I forget what the fines are, and the person that tried to enforce it fines. I think there's jail time that goes along with that. They can lose their business down here. Nobody's going to know I have a gun in my car because I'm not announcing it first off. But if they happen to get sneaky and all that stuff and find out about it, they can't do nothing.
Right.
About it. It's in your car. It's not going off. It's not going to do anything.
And we're not saying it's in a company vehicle.
Yes, because guess what? A company vehicle.
That's right. In a company vehicle, again, it's their vehicle. They can say You won't have a firearm in our company vehicle if you wish to maintain employment here. We're talking about your own personal private vehicle.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't realize that. I know there's a couple local government agencies that still have it in their employee handbook. It's 100% incorrect. They just don't want to go through the expense of.
So it's even written.
It's written.
Wow.
Apparently, they will be getting rid of that, but
I would
that's
be
wrong.
as fast as I could.
Yes, as long as you don't enforce it,
Right.
I wouldn't see there's a problem. Maybe our attorney friends out there listening can let us know that one. But that's it. You can have it in your car. And I don't care if you're a customer of a place or something like that. You go to Walt Disney World, they can't tell you can't have it in the car while you're in the parking lot. Yes, you can.
Right.
And guess what? They don't have a right to search your car.
No, heck no.
And if they told me, hey, if I go into one of these amusement parks or something, hey, we're going to search your car before you come in, I'm going to have
you're
two
not.
words for them. And it's not good morning. So I'll leave it there. What was the big question that you got?
Oh,
I
wow,
just
you're
threw
really
her on
putting
the
me
spot.
on the
Her
spot.
eyes just like
Deer
really huge.
in the headlights.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
That is funny. There was a lot. You get all the questions about how ladies carry a gun and all that, but I
do.
want to keep it on the legal side of things. Okay, here's one. You go to a local, I'm going to use Kevin's favorite word, eatery.
I like eateries. We were talking about that earlier. I'm always
You like
hungry.
dessert.
I'm a big fan of food, so
She eats twice as much as I do, and I'm 3 times the size. But anyway, you stop by one of your local restaurants that are, I'll say, anti-gun. They're not favorable to people with firearms, and they got the big picture of the gun on the front window with the circle around it with the line through it. No concealed weapons in here, blah, 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 blah.
right.
Let's say you don't see that sign, or you do see it. Myself, I choose not to go to those places. But if you do see it and you walk into that place with your gun, are you committing a crime?
What say you, people? No, you are not committing a crime.
No, there's no law against that.
Right, because that business owner's preference of you carrying concealed or not does not override what the law says you can do.
Exactly. Now, it is their house, their rules.
Right?
If they find out you have it, they can ask you to leave.
And at that point, you would need to leave.
Yes. If you don't leave, and which is the worst thing you can ever do,
Right.
then you're trespassing. They can call the cops and have you trespassed.
Yes.
Myself, again, I choose not to go in those places.
Right. Don't support me. I don't support you.
Bingo.
Right.
So if you have any more questions on that, that's pretty much simple. Can you carry in a bank?
That's a good question.
Aha.
A lot of people think
Well,
that you cannot.
yes, because they think a bank is federal property.
Right.
It's FDIC insured. It's not federal property. It's a private business, or it could be whatever kind of business. Yes, there's no law against you carrying in a bank.
People get shocked when you tell them that.
Yes. That's pretty simple. A lot of people don't know that one.
So yeah, it's
Go ahead.
true. There's a lot of places that people think that you can't carry where you actually can.
Yes. I mean, the list is actually, it's pretty simple, straightforward. There's the one for the place of nuisance, and that'll be a show on its own. That one still cracks me up a little bit.
That's the most ambiguous one that there is, I would say.
That's a big word. Where's my dictionary? But the rest of it's common sense, like I tell everybody,
Right.
if there's a metal detector in the armed guard at the front door, guess what? Hint, hint, you can't carry in there.
I'm making it pretty clear to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Even it might not even be against the law to carry in those places, but they don't want you to.
Right.
And they're going to the extent that you can't. Other than other big question, sporting events. Everybody likes going to watch their baseball game, football games, and all that. Are they allowed to carry when they go there? And folks, this is for concealed weapons,
Right.
not just a firearm. You cannot carry in any school, college, or professional athletic event.
True.
It is against the law to carry at those places. Most people don't get that, but guess what? Most of these venues have a reminder for you now because they got metal detectors and armed guards at the doors or the
lot of them do.
entryways. I heard they just put them in down here, and please let me know if I'm wrong on this, folks. I haven't double checked it. Down here at the local baseball stadium where I don't follow baseball at all. This is bad. We got the Pirates out here in Bradenton,
Right.
and then there's the something out here in Sarasota, and
right.
apparently they put the metal detectors and everything there, and they got the security guards with the wands.
Right.
So
With the wands where they check the ladies' purses and things like that, you mean?
yes, do you know how many professional baseball players and other athletes we have coming in here to our shop as clients?
Well, because I mean, they come down here for spring training.
Spring training,
So-
a lot of them live out in this area.
Right.
And they come in the shop and everybody, I have no idea who they are.
I wouldn't either,
And
honestly.
then they tell me, oh, I play for so-and-so. I'm like, who?
I mean, you pretty much give me a team name. I can tell you what sport it is. I'm pretty good at that.
Oh, no, we can do that in the trivia.
But recognizing a sports figure, I
No.
would be.
And none of them ever
hard-pressed.
came in here trying to brag that they were a sports figure. It was just somebody in the shop recognized them.
I mean, I would think it's kind of cool, frankly. I wouldn't know who the heck they were, but I would think it was kind of cool. Be like, oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Not every day you meet a professional sports athlete.
I'm just not one of those persons that are like at all from seeing a athlete or some kind of star or something like that. It's just not me.
I mean, I'm not in awe, but it'd be kind of cool.
Like, hey, that's so-and-so. Okay, have a nice day. So, whatever. So, what other questions? I gave you all mine. She's sitting here again looking. We were in the class. We had a lot of them.
We did.
There are a lot of what-if questions. The home invasion. Oh, can you stop a burglary? This is my favorite one. And I'll blame the media on this one.
Well, because, okay, so words like, burglary and
Robbery.
they're used so interchangeably
Yes.
to the people that don't know the difference.
Yeah. So basically, when somebody asks, hey, can I defend my house against a burglary? No.
No, but you can defend it against a robbery.
You know why you can't defend it against a burglary?
I do.
Why not?
Burglary is actually the unlawful entrance into a building. You are not necessarily present during a burglary.
Did you get that, folks? You know why you can't defend yourself for a burglary? You're not there.
You're not there. Right.
It's that simple.
Right. Your presence is what changes that situation into a robbery.
Yes. Yeah. And that's basically what it is. I mean, if it's a robbery, it's a home invasion robbery. You're home and an unwanted person enters your house. Yes, you can defend yourself in that situation.
Yes. Thank goodness in this state.
I think we got to start on the shows having like one section, like a little law tip every week.
That would be good. I think that'd be helpful. Well, and part of the reason I like doing the classes, I like helping to educate people. And I also like feeling like people are a little bit more prepared and better able to protect themselves and their families when they leave rather than when they walked in.
And people can go on. I have a lot of websites and Facebook pages.
We talked about your social media accounts, yes.
We have a one called Florida Concealed Carry, and we do go over a lot of questions there, but even on our radio show page, if you have a question about certain things, PM me, private message me, those things, and I'll answer them the best that I can. If it's something I'm not comfortable asking, because you're asking for some really legal advice, and we are not attorneys, we do have great attorneys here that will definitely answer them for you. We're here to help everybody out.
So if you don't know the answer, you ask somebody who does?
Yes. We have it like the Lindsey tip of the week on laws.
Okay.
That works for me.
Me as
We're
well.
going to
I
start
like
that
it.
next week.
We are starting a new
Because
thing.
we will be back here again next week at 8 p.m. on the same channel. And you'll hear us talking about some stuff with guns. Hopefully we don't talk about any more idiots in the news.
Let's
we
hope
had
there's
enough
not
this
any more
past
this week.
So listen, folks, have a great night. Have a great week. Again, if you missed any part of the show, see it on our Facebook page or any of the other social media outlets. And it's Talking Guns with Joe.
Booyah.